Good morning everybody, I'm back with another video, and today I want to tell you about my latest experiment. So one of the great things about being a coach and an athlete is you can try different things out. Now, I've always been a bit of a renegade, so if somebody says to me that ain't going to work, my immediate thought is, oh, I'll see if I can prove you wrong. Now, my backstop to this is, well, what's the worst that can happen? In the case of training, I may not get any fitter, I may only get a little bit fitter. I also might stumble on the one thing that makes me a lot fitter. And as long as I don't do anything that's going to make me ill or cause me to get injured, then, as I say, what's the worst that can happen? So I've been reading this book recently. This is it. It's called Primal Endurance. And the general concept is paleo eating, cutting out a lot of processed carbohydrates. In fact, cutting out a lot of carbohydrates, getting more of your calories from fats and of course protein, and still some carbs. Now you can go really low on carbs and get into what's called a ketogenic state, but that's something for another time. It's very, very advanced. In this case, what they're trying to do is persuade your body to utilize fats more by withdrawing the carbohydrates. Now, in order for this to work, you also have to train at a very low intensity. It's almost impossible to go purely or really low carbohydrate and do high intensity work and just not feel like you're bonking all the time, or compromise your immune system, or lose the ability to put out explosive power outputs. However, that's not the sort of thing I want to be doing at the moment, because, as you know, I am recovering from my Ironman. I still have a couple of weeks left of easy training, because if you read the other day's email post on my Facebook page, I don't think I've fully recovered yet. So I thought I'd experiment. For the next 3 weeks, I'm going to be trying to really cut down on carbs, not because I think they're the enemy, but just because I want to try out this little experiment. My carbs are going to come from fibrous vegetables, things like sweet potatoes, and any of the traditional stuff I have will be wild rice or quinoa. And then there's the incidental carbs coming from vegetables and fruit. I'll be eating a lot more fats, a lot more fatty fish, high fat fish, a lot more avocados and nuts and things like that. The training will be very low intensity. The primal endurance method suggests using what was proposed by Phil Maffetone, Dr. Phil Maffetone, who worked with the great Mark Allen many years ago, and using the MAF method, MAF, maximum aerobic function, I think it is. Basically, you take your age from 180, so in my case that would be 128, and then you add or minus scores of 5 or 10 depending on recent health and training. So I'll be adding back in 5 because I've had a good spell of training, and that'll give me a target of 133. And then when I'm out running or cycling, I have to keep my heart rate below that level. That's easily possible to do for cycling, not easy to measure for swimming, and very hard for running, because there's so much more weight bearing to be done, and if you're at all inefficient in this, your heart rate will go up as you move along. So I'm going to try that for the next 3 weeks. If it goes well, I should feel really fresh at the end of it, because I've done no high intensity work, so I'll be recovered from the Ironman stuff. My body fat will go down, ironically. Eating more fat and less carbs provokes less of an insulin response, less laying down of fat as a store, and convinces the body to use more fat as a fuel, thus using up the stores you've got. But we'll see. And it'll be an interesting experiment, and that's all it is. And as I say, what's the worst that can happen? Probably nothing, actually, and I'll be eating a lot more vegetables and generally be a lot healthier. So I'll keep you posted. I know that the scientists out there will be listening to this or watching this and rolling their eyes and going, oh no, what's he up to now? Where's the evidence? So it's just another fad, and that's as may be. But you know what? I want to find out for myself in this experiment of one. So that's what I'm going to do, and I'm going to keep you posted in future emails. But for now, have a great weekend, and I'll see you next week.